Well, Evan, I really like the moment where Shasta is in the group therapy session and she's talking with people who have been homeless and had murder attempts on them and have been addicted to heroin, and it comes around to her and she does there's nothing wrong in her life, like she's got a great family.
Mm-hmm.
She's living in the suburbs, like,
Yeah.
I really and there's a couple things I like about that. I like that she I like the idea that there doesn't need to be anything wrong in her life for her to be depressed.
Sure.
That it's not, depression isn't necessarily a reaction to something.
And the lack of drama of that depression is really what kind of drives her.
Right.
Is that there's really no dramatic purpose behind her hurt. And I guess that's one thing that scared me when I was writing this, that I was like, well, there's really no dramatic... she doesn't have that hurt story. She doesn't have that quirky background.
That's what's good about it, though. That's what works. And I love the idea, like, you want to talk about conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about a series of trials, a road of trials for a hero. I just love the idea of a depressed person going into a mental hospital and being bullied there, which is essentially what happens to her.
Yeah.
Like, that's so compelling, and that's so heartbreaking, because it's like, oh, this poor girl can't get a break. Like, getting bullied in a mental hospital, like, where the f*** is supposed to go?
Right, and that's the toughest thing I think about these mental hospitals anymore, too, is that like 90% of them, with everyone that I've spoken to who has gone to one, including the one that I went to out in Riverside, was that it's typically like a 1-week program,
right,
where you heal and usually take new medication or something like that, where you simply heal and talk to people and get help. You get connected to a network and you just work it out for 5 days.
right.
But the interesting part about that is that it's also a detox clinic,
Right.
at the exact same time, which makes it really interesting, because juxtaposed to these really depressed and really just trying to figure it out people, you have people who are just losing it because they don't have their drugs, and they're trying to figure out as much as we are, and there's this weird connection that happens between the two of our parties, where it's like, we got into this, we don't know how we got into this, we don't know how deep we got into this, but we're here, somehow we are here.
Now, do you think that that's, like, for someone who's trying to recover, do you think being in the same room with the detox clinic, is that helpful or was that hurtful?
I think it really put things in perspective. That so many of these people were dual diagnoses,
Mm-hmm.
where it was their bipolar disorder, their mental illness caused the drug disorder, essentially. So yeah, it's really interesting how those two things come together and you kind of see the same struggles. But at the same time, it is very, very tough dealing with a dude who's just coming off meth, man. Walking around the backyard, talking to himself, and losing it.
Yeah.
It's like...
Do you think it's helpful? Do you think the reverse is true, that it's helpful for the detox people to be with the depressed people and the suicidal people?
I really hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that I really do feel like the feeling is mutual, that if we're all connected in some way and it's universal energy, then the impact that I'm having and feeling should be projected outward, and someone else in that room will be feeling and having that same thing.
Sure.
Because what they're getting is a perspective on the mental turmoil that they're going through just coming down. for God's sake, just coming off of that, you know.
Yeah.
It's nuts, but it somehow seems to be a marriage of programs that work.
Yeah. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So I really, really like the ending of Life Underwater.
Which is really only the beginning, folks, because it's gonna be a feature soon.
Well, this is what's leading into my question. So Shasta has this great conversation at the end. You just moved a little bit. I think closer is going to be better for the lens, baby.
Okay.
Then
let me. Dude, I gotta stand up and
do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you gotta be like me. Don't wear pants. Solve that problem.
We're good.
She has this great conversation at the end of the movie, which what I like about it is it doesn't. It's so boring. What I like about it is it's a movie that doesn't deal with issues that can be wrapped up concisely. And so the end of the movie does not wrap up the issues concisely, but the message she receives is you just gotta keep trying.
Yeah.
You just gotta keep okay.
That's the whole which leads us to the tagline of the film, or the whatever you want to call it, which is "Swim Up."
Swim up. Oh, that's a good tagline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is all it takes. A lot of the times is that you just gotta, you know.
Oh man, are we gonna need to do get an underwater rig for this?
It's called a GoPro.
Oh, you know what? You're right. He's right. It's called a GoPro. Yeah, there you go.
You put it in your hand and you go in the water.